Hey there, I am trying to redo this live stream because I did have my youngest daughter in here because we do have a new hybrid schedule starting. I'm like not even ready. We do have a new hybrid schedule starting today, and we definitely have some critiques of it. The lighting in here is brutal. It's just like a cheapy little light from he said, I don't know, like shining really out. Anyway, it's a ring light, but it was really cheap. It was from Five Below. And I'll tell you what, at night when the kids need like a night light or something, I'll actually turn this ring light on and like point it down and on the lowest setting. And it provides just enough light. So it's like this super versatile thing that we like carry from room to room. And it's hilarious because, you buy 75 things at Five Below for a price of like $9,000. And somehow 74 pieces end up being complete pieces of garbage. And then you have like one winner. So winner, chicken dinner. The ring light from Five Below is worth the $10 because it's in their $10 section, because the Five Below it's slowly turning to be 10 below. So we're going to get into what is happening at our school today, a little bit of a critique, and a little bit of like some praise, I guess, for the teachers and for the way things are being done. I'm going to try not to be so negative just in general, not only towards the school, but just towards this whole education thing, because I think it may come to a place where parents are better off taking their children's education into their own hands via homeschooling. And we do know that homeschooling numbers have doubled in the Philadelphia area. I'm not sure about in other areas, more rural areas, or, what those homeschool numbers look like across the country. But I'm willing to bet that in places where schools have been shut down and our children have been forced home for distance learning, that those are the places where the homeschooling numbers will have doubled and tripled. Also in areas where we see large socioeconomic gaps, such that children whose parents can afford private school have been going to school this whole time. Children whose parents cannot afford private school and they're in a public or charter school, those parents kind of just have to eat SHIT. Because if you don't like the way that they do it, believe me, there are 400 other parents that would love to have your spot. So in terms of our charter school, there's only so much that they're willing to listen to in terms of parent feedback. I also am, I have friends who are very, very vocal and involved in school boards and in parent groups. And I really appreciate that those folks are there, that they have the patience to do that. But I simply do not. I don't think I would ever have the patience to do such a thing. We're going to go ahead and just upload this to Facebook real quick. Not that I think anybody's going to check in. Yeah, so anyway, so they're going to... There's going to be a time when if the schools are not open, if schools are falling, if people are falling behind, if... And parents where one parent can mostly stay home, which is the position that we're in. I work, but I control my client roster, I guess would be the term. I control my client roster. I decide how many clients a month. I decide which clients I take, where I will attend births at. Right now, because of various restrictions in place at different hospitals, and everybody kind of has a different policy, doulas are not always being allowed in the delivery room. So I've been hired primarily at this point for home births and as a postpartum doula, which is like another postpartum doula work is something that I absolutely love. So like, if you don't know what postpartum doula work is, it's basically like your mother-in-law without the judgment. So, yeah, give me a second to get this up here. Okay, guys. To feed the algorithm. I don't know how to spell algorithm, and I'm hoping, there you go, it's going to correct it for me. Because I'm a little jopey, So to feed the algorithm. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to go back to close this off. So how is school going? The changes in the school right now are that we are moving into a hybrid schedule. It started today. I believe they're bringing back like the younger grades this week, and then next week they're bringing back some of the older grades, and they're kind of like slowly phasing everybody in. They have it broken up into like 2 groups so that there's adequate spacing according to like CDC or Department of Health guidelines. I'm not really sure what they use. I'm sure there's some governmental overlord that determines some completely arbitrary number of feet that the desks have to be. Now, some of the teachers are actually teaching live in the classroom, and some of the teachers are teaching from their home for various reasons. I'm sure there's either medical complications, or, they're waiting for a vaccine, or they're out on medical for some other reason, or really it's none of our darn business because you get 12 weeks of FMLA. And so if you're not there, it's not my business. How about that? And so maybe some of those teachers are still teaching from home for whatever reason. So for at least one of my children, their teacher would be in the classroom. For my older kids, their teachers would not be there. So they'd still be learning on a laptop regardless. And so, I'm fine to have them home. And then my other daughter's teacher, the one who probably needed the most hands-on assistance today as we tried to get through distance learning and the change to the schedule. Her teacher is in class right now, and her teacher has really made incredible use of the technology that's available. I just feel like she really took the time to like familiarize herself and make it as smooth as possible, because like I sat through different classes with different kids and different teachers use the technology in different ways, and I understand all of this is new, and believe me, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I pop on here and just say stuff. If I say it, don't believe me, I'm just like a crazy lady on the internet. I don't even know why you're watching me right now, but give it a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, because that does help feed the algorithm monster. And so one of our teachers has really done an excellent job at integrating the technology and using it to address both the kids that are in the classroom and the kids that are at home. The thing is, and this is not on the teachers. This is not a teacher bash at all, and it's certainly not directed towards any teacher. But the schedule, I think, is really just too much. And what I mean by that is that the classes are too long, and a fair amount of the time is spent handling issues that like aren't even related to the actual education process. So, handling technical issues, kids that aren't there, correcting certain children's behavior, asking so-and-so to get back on the camera. We were having technical issues today at home with one of our computers. And we talked to a tech guy, and he gave us some tips. I think we're going to probably be able to work that one out, although I'm going to have to talk to my other daughters. Apparently it's a problem that they have with like these laptops. They're not necessarily meant to run at these speeds. And then we also have like 3 kids that are using Zoom. So that's upload and download all on the same internet. And I'm on the internet right now. So, their Zoom is laggy. I can never get stuff done. It took me, I can't believe I made it to 9 minutes without being interrupted 1,002 times, except I know they're all in school. So the teachers really are, the teachers that I've witnessed in the past, few days are absolutely doing like their best to integrate the tools that they have, and to try to shift their entire paradigm of teaching so that they can split it and teach. It seems almost impossible, and I don't know how they do it. And I have some more thoughts, but I need to develop them out a little bit. It would seem to me, and I'm not sure if this has been discussed or not, but it seems to me that it would be better to have like all the teachers who wanted to teach live, and then the teachers that wanted to teach online could do so. Theoretically, that would all come out in the wash in terms of who wanted to stay home and who didn't, and which kids were going to stay home and which kids weren't. Now, that only doesn't work if there is a bigger demand for in-person teaching than there are teachers in person. And I think that might have been the case only because they do still have teachers that are home. They do still have some substitutes that are acting as like permanent fill-ins for teachers that are out on medical leave. Thankfully the substitutes, I think pretty much all the substitutes are really well liked and well received there. So, hybrid learning, there were definitely some moments this morning when I wanted to run away. I had a moment where I had my youngest child was hiding under a blanket. She's not 2, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, mm. My youngest child was hiding under a blanket crying because she didn't want to go back to school. My oldest child's computer kept crashing. I was in the middle of writing an email to her teacher and the tech guy while Grace was having a fit. And then Erin wants to know where I am because she can't even be on like the same floor. Like, she has to be on the same floor as everybody else. This is part of what makes things so difficult, is that even when there's an opportunity to quote unquote like get away, it feels like there's never really that like space to relax, because I can't even go upstairs and be alone, or anywhere really, and be alone and uninterrupted. And if I ask for it, then it almost guarantees they're going to interrupt me more. So I don't know what to do with any of that. That's how hybrid learning is going today. I wanted to also briefly touch on some things that I heard about. Number one, I'm beginning to gather from some of the more woke friends of mine that are currently in the medical freedom movement that we really need to take a look at these blanket consent forms that we are signing to have our children attend school, whether or not these blanket forms subject your family to contact tracing. What does that contact tracing look like? So let's say someone in your children's group, however your children are grouped, like ours are grouped by color. So let's say like purple or red. So if someone in your child's purple group tests positive for the coronavirus, your child would then be expected to quarantine for 14 days, is my understanding. And it really depends on which set of rules you look at. And our school is obviously different. So it's very general here. So that the child would be quarantined. My question is, what about the other family members? What about the mother, the father, whoever? What if we both work outside the home? Do I then have to be quarantined? I have to get a test done for the child, which means that's something the mother, of course, would have to arrange. And probably do themselves, and arrange childcare for the other kids that are home distance learning, and wait for the results. And do I also have to get a test? Like, there's just so many questions surrounding privacy and really medical ethics. I mean, I'm really starting to question how ethical it is to require patients to essentially sign away their bodily autonomy just to be treated for a frigging cavity. I mean, I looked at something today, and you know what, maybe it is worth saving and printing out and just kind of highlighting where these blanket forms go wrong. And when we sign them electronically, we don't have the option of, writing down. You can, whenever you're signing a consent form, say to go into the hospital or whatever, you can always like scratch out something you don't agree with and initial it, that you're the one that scratched it out, and write the date, initial it, date, scratch it out. Or add additional things like, oh, you can do such and such with consent from husband, or with consent from mother or partner, whatever. So these are just some things that I'm throwing out there. Again, don't believe anything I say. Please go check them out on your own. If you want to send something in the comments, I'll be happy to reach out to you via email and send you more information. I'm happy to do that for anybody, anytime, under any circumstance. One of the things that I do really like now as a doula is that when I do get client inquiries, and it's a client that I can't necessarily take on my roster at that point, but it is somebody that I can hook up with a really great doula or childbirth education program. Like, that's really fun when the pressure's off and it's really just about kind of connecting with that woman and hearing about like her birth plans and finding someone that I feel like she would really gel with. Like, that's just the highlight of my day. It's why I got into doula work. I've experienced some really like amazing births, and I think it's time to start making a record of them while I still have a little bit of memory left here. I mentioned to a family member last night that, I do believe that the ish is going to hit the fan. I think we are going to see, the shutdown of the major production lines for even your pharmaceutical companies, your major food production companies. I think we're going to see worldwide catastrophe in terms of death. I think we will see that soon. And the truth of the matter is, if all of that, if the ish really does go ahead and hit the fan the way it's supposed to, then what it means is that those of us that depend on medication every day just to survive and have some kind of quality of life, those of us that are high risk, those of us that so, there are many of us that simply would not live very long. All the, not to be Debbie Downer, Dana Downer, not to be Dana Downer, but, people like me are just not going to make it real long, and so that makes me think about how I best want to use my time, and just leaving a little bit of a record here online out in the ether for random people to see and give a shit about is just something to do. It's a way to connect with people and get them information. A lot of times I am contacted by or on behalf of teachers. And so I certainly appreciate that, because the more we can bring these issues to light and we can bring parents and teachers together, especially when we're united. I know there are a fair number of teachers in the union, and probably even more so in a charter school, because teachers that work in charter schools, I don't believe that teachers that choose to work in charter schools are unaware and ignorant of the fact that it's a different type of work environment than working for the Philadelphia School District and Union. Teachers that work in a charter school, generally speaking, choose that because they want to choose a different educational experience. And so I really do appreciate that about the teachers that we have at our school. And I think as a matter of fact, they're not going to be the teachers that are always agreeing with the union. But unfortunately, the Philadelphia Teachers Union does kind of set the tone for the charter schools in the area, because they do kind of loosely follow their recommendations. Now, Philadelphia School District public schools were supposed to open today for hybrid schedule, but they canceled it last minute, like late on Friday. I don't know, the way they're jerking these teachers and parents around. I can't believe that like the parents and teachers haven't joined together with pitchforks. But I don't have a kid in public school. I have a child in charter school, and that certainly comes with its own set of circumstances and complications too. But that's okay. It's worth it. My kids are getting a good education when they're there. I really don't have a whole lot to say in terms of the quality of education with this setup. I just find it to be each child has a different schedule. In terms of the time they start, what time their classes are, when their lunch is, when their breaks are. trying to keep track of their 3 schedules, plus any work that I might have to do, plus say maybe like pay bills or take out the trash or take the dog for a walk or get myself to a doctor's appointment, or I've been meaning to get, okay. So I have 3 different specialists hounding me for blood work that I'm supposed to have done 6 months ago. With the conditions I have, I should have blood work done every 3 months. I've just been putting it off. These are things that I can't walk away and do because I can't walk away from my house. It makes me think that homeschooling would be a good option. And I think sometimes when teachers hear parents talk about homeschooling, some teachers might take that personally. I'm not in any way suggesting that if you put me in a classroom with 20 kids that I would have the first clue how to handle myself. I wouldn't. I would feel really overwhelmed. I taught I taught a group of preschoolers once, and I found that to be like way overwhelming. I mean, I was like sweating the whole way through it. So, I mean, look, teaching's not for me. But what I'm saying is teaching one-on-one is a very different experience than trying to teach and manage a classroom full of people and personalities. When you're just one-on-one with your child or children, I think there's a totally different dynamic. So when I say that I'm talking about homeschool, it's not because I think I'm a better teacher or because I think I could do a better job. Okay. To be fair, I do think that I could do a better job than the education system as a whole is capable of doing right now. I do think that. But that's not a knock against teachers that I think I could somehow do their job better than them. That's what I mean. None of that is true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a little appreciation rant about teachers so that we can show our teachers a little bit of love. Where are we at, homie? Turn around. There we go. I really like more light over here. Isn't that one ain't plugged in? I don't know what's going on there. Sneaky McSneakerson is out. If anybody wants to, we can go ahead and get our Sneaky McSneakerson out. I think her name is technically Boba Fanta, but I call her Sneaky McSneakerson, and it's just kind of catching on. I take care of her more than my kid does, not surprisingly. Hi, friends. So this is Dana from Karen Cares, just checking in with you guys on the new hybrid schedule, how teachers are doing, and what I think teachers should do at this point. I do think at this point, teachers and parents in Philadelphia particularly need to unite against this tomfoolery that the school district has been putting you through. My children are in a charter school, so really I have no dog in the race, as the saying goes. But what I will say is that teachers and parents and students have been kind of strung along with this moving the goalpost thing that just seems to happen in Philadelphia politics, and everybody just assumes it's the way it is. I don't know the relationship that the union has with the administration of the Philadelphia School District, but I will say this. I think it's time for teachers and parents to unite, to come together with the concerns that they have. Right now, it's a really trying time. We can choose to fight, and we can choose to lay down and accept it and bend over backwards and change our lives all the time to fit their whims. You know who I feel the worst for right now is actually teachers that have children in school. So I know teachers that are teachers in public school that have their children in private school and or are homeschooling children while trying to teach their class and still do all their teacherly duties and their motherly duties. I mean, talk about an impossible situation for women to be in. I hear the pitter-patter of little feet. Yesy, I'm in here. I am. Come on in. Make it quickie. Hello. Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you thrilled? Sure.
Okay.
Are you happy to be done?
Yes.
Okay. What did you like about it? Did you like seeing your friends, like that they were like in the classroom? Was that fun,
Well,
or
there
were
was
you not
this
able to
one
see them?
part, where at
Ah!
the science, the
Mhm.
very end of science, he puts like a exit poll,
Yeah,
and we all answered.
yeah.
He said, if most of the class, none of the classes got this all right.
Yeah.
We didn't get it all right, but we were the closest.
Okay.
And everyone was like, "Who is this 4%?" And everyone was having like a really good time. I don't know why.
And that was science?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's one of your favorite subjects.
my favorite subject.
Well, and you're also, so
Not
Erin,
really, like,
Erin's my middle child, and she never slept from the moment she was born, man. Oh, she's so alert. You better watch your back. Somebody says that about a kid at a couple of hours old, you're done. She never slept. So she still gets up like super early in the morning. So the whole schedule has been moved up a half hour. It starts at 7:30 instead of 8. Can you see what she wants and tell her that I'm busy right now?
Mom's busy right now. I can help you.
They need things that aren't that important. Well, that was totally pointless because I got interrupted. The one thing that I cannot figure out is that I was able to get this webcam hooked up here. Oh yeah, here. This is, I'll show you all this picture. This is my child's. Hiding under the covers because she doesn't want to go to school. Now, I mean, she went. The thing is, like, going to school, it means sitting in front of a screen. I don't think the 3 to 4 to 5 hours a day of screen time is good for 7, 8, 9, younger. I understand as we get up closer to the junior high school level, we do have children who need to be in school more. Yes, dear?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Just go look for it.
My shirt is like this, by the way.
Okay. What do you need?
When you're done, I need help on this website called Nearpod or something, AirPod or
Yeah.
something. And it was like, read the story. And I was like, are you done? And I typed in yes, and it just, like, when I tried to unpause it, it was the end of the story, but it just paused by its own. I don't know if my mouse is just, like, under a book, because I can't find my mouse, and it's under a book.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's nothing. Just what? Okay. So your mouse is in your box. You have to look in the box.
But that's not the point.
Okay. What can we get to that point then?
I don't know what to do, but you can finish this.
Nearpod.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring the laptop up because I can't do anything about it from here. And this is what I mean. Like, this is school stuff. So she's got this one class, and the teacher has them jumping around to 17 different links. But when you are jumping around to 17 different links on using Zoom, it makes their computers lag. And apparently this is like just a thing, according to the tech guy, with these laptops. They're just not, oh gosh, this thing keeps getting on wedge. Or rather, keeps getting wedge. And so it's just not making things any easier. So anyway, I think teachers maybe could try streamlining that a little bit more, not having the kids jump around to all different websites during class, especially during Zoom. Like, I get it if there's an assignment afterwards or, just homework or whatever it is. Then of course, send them websites galore. I don't think that's a problem, but during a Zoom meeting, it does interfere with the internet reception. It does make things laggy, and it certainly becomes frustrating for the kids because when you're having them jump around to all these different websites and it's getting laggy, they're not hearing everything you say. They're catching like every other syllable instead of understanding all of what it is that you're saying. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on, please. I'm going to go ahead and get these kids ready for hopefully to go outside and play. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you very much. If you could, send a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Bye.